Good evening, everyone. 3-2 here. Here to run Speed Power Gunbike. Kind of a pet game of mine. It's actually the only thing I have a leaderboard for. It's really the only thing I take half seriously. But I'll be playing as Ami tonight, the White Rider. It's a fun game. It's actually the first game by Inti Creates, better known for Mega Man Zero and Dragon Marked for Death just came out. Mic quiet? I might just be talking quiet. Anyway, without further ado, let's get in there. I have been practicing. I've been getting Deathless fairly consistent, but I'm still a little bit sloppy from where I was, like, I'd say in my prime. Oh yeah, Inti Creates. They did Dragon Marked for Death, the Gunvolt series, Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX, Galgun. Okay, that's already a bad start. They get around. So the reason I've started using Ami instead of Ippei like I was in earlier runs, she doesn't have a quick kill cannon like he does. But she just has overall better performance in terms of acceleration and cornering. Which means when I do make a mistake, it's a lot easier to recover. But she also has a really nice dive kick move you can use to shorten up the worst boss. Oh, that ain't good. That's also not good. This game has several worst bosses, but they're all worst in unique ways. I skipped the shortcut that I usually take, but it doesn't honestly save a lot of time. It just saves you making a big hairpin turn. So yeah, the reason this game really appealed to me as something to attempt a speedrun with is your life meter and your timer are effectively the same thing. So playing fast is the same thing as playing well. And also robots, yes. I actually first heard of this game in a Game Fan magazine. And the title just stuck in my brain for decades until I got to actually play it. In spite of the title, guns are pretty useless in this game. It's actually a plot point. They're doing like the Evangelion thing where you're fighting aliens that are immune to conventional weapons. So you'll probably notice I switch in and out of robot mode a lot. And that's because when you do the power charge, you gain massive damage resistance and it also keeps you from falling off your bike. If you're in speed bike mode and take a hit, you'll fly off of the handlebars. It's Excite Bike style. And you have to wait for your character to run all the way back. So anyway, this first boss is sort of cool. It's a big spider mech. You're supposed to hit the legs and then clobber it while it's down. Hey, Mac. You can get it into a chain if you hit it from just the right angle. There's a little bit of iframes on the legs after you first knock it down. There we go. There we go, it's dead. And then when this boss dies, it has a little tantrum and just fires its machine gun off into the air, and promptly falls apart. Generally, if you can keep your speed bonus at the end of the stage at 5,000, you know you're on a good track. It seems to start at 5,000 and go down if you, like, lollygag too much. Once in a blue moon, these mine layer trucks will just troll the hell out of you and, like, they'll fling mines across the road instead of just around you. You can usually ignore most of these floating mines because they'll be up above your level. Now this part's just obnoxious. There's a couple of like recurring rival type bikers that show up. They'll try and hit you and delay you. If they get a certain distance ahead of you, they'll start shooting backwards at you, and that'll push you back further, and it's just like a whole miserable time-wasting section. So again, I'm taking advantage of the Mech's damage reduction by just periodically transforming so they can't sideswipe me and delay me like they just did. Oh, come on. Okay, when the kid goes, "Abayo," they're done chasing you. So the other two characters have a thing where they can just clip through these electric fences. Ami has to go around them because her, everyone has like a charge, that power tackle I keep doing, but there's like a follow-up to it too. And hers has like a weird delay on it, so you can't use it to clip through guardrails. The other useful thing about doing the transforming power charge thing is it will kinda... Sorry, focus. Yeah, this game doesn't control well. It's a pre-DualShock PS1 game, so you're doing everything on the D-pad, and you don't have any way to control the camera. So that's kind of a hitch, too. Anyway, we're almost to the end of the stage. Kill a couple of these guys. Kills aren't super important. You mostly just want to get to the end as fast as possible, whether or not you're speedrunning, because again, playing fast is essentially just playing well in this game. But I'd like to have 3 stocks of power meter by the time I hit the final stage, so I can show something off, and also make the last stretch of enemies easier. Because the last stage is basically one big gauntlet of enemies. This is probably the best boss in the game, just because it's the only one that really uses the concept. There we go. Yeah, when your little meter on the right is, like, above the red notch, you can press up to get an extra speed boost, like you're leaning into it. Okay. So I haven't explained too far about, like, the different modes of the bike. This half-transformed state's called Rally Mode, and it's like an armored, kind of like in-between transformation, kind of like the Robotech Guardian Gerwalk thing. And if you drop into Rally Mode, you can't be knocked off your bike, but you're still keeping most of your bike mobility. Funny enough, you will see. Slowing down a little bit here. Because there is an upgrade. Yeah, this is the maze. This is probably my least favorite stage. And I guess it leads to my least favorite boss, too. God! The girl doesn't get to yell gun. The default main character, Ippei, is your hot-blooded anime protagonist. So he's always yelling like, God! Hey, Grid. If you tap select when you start the stage, the rangefinder on the left turns into a compass, and that's super useful in this stage. In other stages, it doesn't really matter too much. It defaults to like a rangefinder with a little notch that shows you your stage progress. Yeah, this stage really... The first time I played this, I didn't think I would ever get past this level. For one thing, I was convinced there was a second floor, because for some reason, there's like a second copy of the map above the ceiling. And I thought I was missing an elevator or something. But this is a good place to learn some of the quirks of the physics. In particular, transforming to and from robot mode preserves a lot of momentum, and vice versa. So, like, if you do a power slide and then transform, you'll keep your forward momentum, transform, and shoot off at like 90 degrees. That's really tricky to get down. For some reason, these tanks usually shoot the floor. I assume the floor knows what it did. It's also a point to acknowledge, if you wiggle back and forth while you're hitting a door, it counts as multiple hits. Also, like I was saying, since you want to build as much meter as possible in the early stages, if you can hit the center of those dual doors, that counts as breaking both, and you'll get more gun meter, or G power. You use the G power to activate your gun weapons, which aren't useful at all. Except for one at the end of the game. And we are almost out of the worst stage. That last stretch can actually be really rough. Those green mine layers will keep releasing new mines at a rate that almost keeps you perfectly stun-locked. Okay, so this is probably the most miserable boss fight. Naked Snake lost his eye in the jungle, Jay. Now I kind of have disappearing Ghost Girl down at this point. Oh shit, I messed up. Go, kick. Okay. We're still not in terrible shape. I got a fair amount of damage on the first cycle. Ami can get the boss down in 2 cycles. The other characters usually need 3 minimum. The secret to the Ghost Girl is mostly just knowing her general pattern, even though she'll still break it. Because she's a bitch. So the dive kick is really powerful, but also weird to execute. You have to hit circle to get in a guard stance, hit X to jump, and then hit triangle while you're in the air. I think I can kill this thing on this cycle. Would have rather got it in 2, but 3 is okay. And he's dead. Celebratory hover. Hey, dude. Lousy speed bonus that time, but... Nee. Okay. This next stage is still kind of mazy, but not nearly as bad as the boat. It's a lot harder to get stuck in a dead end here. But we're basically going into a warehouse district. Got a bad angle on that. That part can suck if you get hit by the mines, because they're spaced in such a way if you get hit by one, you're going to hit by all of them. Oh, you guys are going to see all kinds of floating mines and armored core coming up next. So many floating mines. I would love to see this come back, but actually when I was at PAX East, I went to the Intercreates booth because they were giving away Blaster Master Zero pins, like 1 per day. And I brought up Gunbike, and they're like, of course I've heard of it, it's our first game. Which I honestly wasn't expecting to hear that from the American staff. I kind of figured they would have been more versed in like the recent stuff. But apparently Sony Music Entertainment has the rights to this game, so they can't do a direct sequel. But it's not impossible they could just spontaneously bring it back out of the blue as like a spiritual successor or something. And that'd be really neat. For me, specifically. I think Sony would probably just be like, what? Whoopsie doodle. It's kind of funny watching the mech just fall on its ass when it hits a guardrail too fast. But you can see we're like, this is a really good stage for using rally mode between its defense and being able to turn tighter. Whoops. Those electric guardrails are like the most obnoxious thing sometimes. The key to getting around here is to just accelerate a little at a time. Otherwise, you're just going to be squealing your tires and bouncing off the walls and wasting tons and tons of time. I mean, I'm still doing it, but I'm wasting less time than I could. And isn't that really what it's all about? I'm pretty sure that if I, like, could get on Nico Video and, like, pull up, like, Japanese speedrunners, there's probably somebody who's got, like, a way better run of this than I do. But as far as speedrun.com is concerned, I am the world record holder. So as you can hear, there is a ghost taunting us and saying Oni-chan a lot. And the main character doesn't like that. She's not into the Emoto type. She's probably more into the Ara type. Yeah, this is a Japan-only game. Okay, now the previously mentioned Ghost Girl. She faces between the set of 4 rooftops. She tends to go on diagonals. Though every once in a while, she'll just stay on the same roof. I thought I had a manipulation down for a while, but then she decided that didn't work anymore. Because it seems like if you run past her... Oh, wow, Okay, so you're seeing a key flaw in the game system right there. In that, the controls kind of suck when you have just a straight-up boss arena. Oh god. Busted! Still got full marks. They're a triple changer for all purposes and intents. Although, in this stage, essentially your commanding officer goes insane at some point, and you get what's supposed to be an Evangelion-style feral berserker mode. Except it looks really, really stupid. Okay, I'm out of meter, so now I have to fight him normally. The red biker has a big cannon as a super attack that you can just use to one-shot this guy hilariously. His AI is still pretty much set to be mindlessly aggressive, so you can usually get him to run into walls, which is easier than tracking him down. Yeah, this is Gunbike on ice. I'd dive kick him, but he has a tendency to shoot you out of the air. There we go. Like that alarm? So anyway, after this stage, Ami gets a unique upgrade. In the other stages, if I had wanted to, you could tap up 3 times, then triangle to go into her berserker mode. But, now that she has confronted her abusive superior officer, she's got an upgrade. So now I don't have to wade through all those tanks. And I look awesome. For a few seconds. I don't think there's anyone to report him to. The ship you deploy from gets blown up in the intro. Staying in rally mode just to be safe because these bullets kind of spray. Please note that these are bikes with actual guns. They're probably better named than me. These things suck. I usually just ignore them and go around them. But if you let them, they have surprisingly damaging energy bursts. But yeah, Ami's supposed to be kind of like a Rei Ayanami archetype. She's the mysterious girl who has headaches and seems to be connected to the aliens. I suspect she just has headaches because her rally mode has her face sticking out of the front of the bike. And she's the only character with no helmet. But that's just me. That's just my theory. A game theory, if you will. So you have a second motorcycle chase here. Usually if you stay all the way to the right, they won't hit you, because this is a much shorter stretch. Yeah, they're done already. So the hardest and arguably worst boss is coming up now. So if anybody has any good luck superstitions, be sure to go through them right now. The two annoying biker kids have combined into super vehicle formation Heikeon. So this boss sucks because he moves almost completely at random, and you have to deal with the game's regular controls. It makes just having a regular arena boss fight just agonizing. Sometimes he will just attack the fence or hop into the air for no reason. It's RNG like you've never seen it. The best luck I've had is to try and get him into like a beat-em-up style jab infinite. If you hit him too fast, he'll split into two separate bikes again and run off, either to just plain waste time or to heal. And if you leave him unattended... Okay, now he's doing the stupid hops. Oh my god, let me hit him. He's got like 1 HP left. There we go. That was one of the smoothest fights with that guy I have ever had. Okay. So now, this is the final boss. I guess it's some kind of control computer or something like that. Every time you hit it, it goes off in a storm of these, like, revenge bullets. It's a pretty simple fight, but the timing can be really awkward. Because, like, it alternates between being invincible and firing a really powerful ball beam thing. And it's really easy to get thrown off by the little orbs surrounding it. Again, staying in rally mode is usually the safe way to go. Oh, that ain't good. That really ain't good. Almost there. Oh, that ain't good. Come on, let's go. One more good hit in there. But yeah, if you get hit by that bouncing orb beam thing, it can do ridiculous damage. We're talking like up to 70% of your life. Fuck. There we go. Okay, and now, because this was inspired heavily by 90s anime, we're going to have a trippy end sequence that's barely interactive. But you still have control, so the timer is still running. So I give you naked astral projection. In a polycount solo, her feet look like bars of soap. It doesn't really do anything if you collect all the 2001 Space Odyssey slabs. You can't really speed this up, either. You can slow it down a little if you just sit here doing loop-de-loops. Like this. I would really love to know what's going on in this sequence. I mean, I know, like... I know the general gist of the story to this game. There's, like, an alien invasion. And, since the aliens are not vulnerable to normal weapons, they come up with, like, a device that will basically turn people into spirit bullets. So the Gunbike is designed to accelerate people, and the armor is supposed to, like, be, like... they're turning into a psychic bullet that smashes the enemy barriers down. Again, it's like, it's got a lot of Evangelion vibes to it. When they sat down to create this game, they wanted to make something that felt nostalgic, like a show you had caught on the early morning and maybe not entirely understood. I've also heard rumors that there are, like, they wanted to make this based on Megazone 23. But that didn't happen. I don't think this is going to be a far pace. Because there's still, like, the second stretch of this. You know, Weary, that is possibly what's happening. Woof-fuffer. It's actually third half, but you can't put slashes in usernames. See how many Chaos Emeralds I can get for the hell of it. Again, I don't think it really does anything if you hit all the collectibles, because, like, I've hit all the slabs. I can't remember if I've got all the gems and slabs in the same path. I actually get 1.5 fairly often. And control is lost. We have a very slight world record improvement. So I would say that does redeem the run I had last year, where I just got juggled by the end boss and ran nearly an entire hour. It feels good. And she is assumed into anime heaven. Cue the smooth, I don't know, what would you call it, J-Jazz? Japanese jazz. Thank you all for the GGs and WFRs. We will fondly remember our Gunbike heroes, and I'm glad I was able to run this after all. I had a bit of a health thing come up earlier in the week that made me, I got pushed earlier, then I had to, like, cancel it, and then now I'm back at my original spot, so it's good to be here. So thank you all. It's been good times. Be sure to stick around. We got Armored Core with PMC Trilogy coming up. Been looking forward to that one. As a massive general mecha nut. Check home base. Oh, forever.